From above, Fez looks less like a city than a memory carved into the earth. Thousands of roofs press together. Minarets rise through the morning haze. Somewhere below, behind walls with no windows, hammers strike brass, leather dries in the sun, and a mule carries tomorrow's deliveries through a street too narrow for a car. Walk through Bab Boujalad and the modern world seems to lose its grip. The road splits, bends, darkens, and disappears. But Fez is not frozen in time. It is something rarer, a medieval city that never stopped living. The story begins between 789 and 808, when the Idrisid dynasty established a capital on the banks of the Fez River. At first, this was not one city. Two fortified communities faced one another across the water, one associated with migrants from Al-Andalus, the other with families from Qarawiyyin in present-day Tunisia. Their names survived in the quarters of the Andalusians and the Qarawiyyin. Their different origins helped create the character of Fez, local and international, Moroccan, and connected to a wider Islamic world. In the 11th century, the Almoravids brought the two banks inside a single circuit of walls. The city expanded, but its earliest logic remained: dense neighborhoods gathered around worship, water, work, and trade. To an outsider, the Medina can feel like a beautiful trap. Lanes narrow without warning. Covered passages turn noon into twilight. A doorway may hide a workshop, a fountain, a school, or an entire courtyard house. This apparent disorder has a structure. Major routes carry commerce deeper into the city. Smaller lanes protect residential life. Markets gather related trades together. Mosques, bakeries, bathhouses, and fountains form local centers. Thick walls and shaded alleys soften summer heat, while the compact plan keeps daily needs close. The city was built for feet, animals, and human conversation, not for engines. That is why its form still controls the rhythm of life inside it. In 859, Fatima al-Fira founded the Qarawiyyin Mosque in the Qarawiyyin quarter. Over centuries, teaching circles gathered around its columns and courtyards. Religious law, language, astronomy, mathematics, and other fields were studied in Fez, attracting scholars and students from across Morocco and beyond. Calling Qarawiyyin the world's oldest university can invite modern debates about what the word university means. What is not in doubt is the extraordinary continuity of learning here. A 9th century religious foundation became one of the great intellectual centers of the Western Islamic world. Knowledge shaped the city around it. Madrasas housed students. Copyists, book dealers, and jurists worked nearby. In Fez, scholarship was not isolated behind a campus wall. It was woven into the streets. Fez reached another peak under the Marinids in the 13th and 14th centuries. In 1276, they founded Fez Jadid, the new Fez, west of the old city. It contained royal, military and residential quarters, while Fez el-Bali remained the dense commercial and spiritual heart. The monuments most visitors remember belong largely to this era: madrasas lined with cedar, carved plaster, and zellage, fonduks that combined lodging, storage, and trade, fountains that turned water into architecture. This refinement was not decoration for its own sake. It announced power, learning, and generosity. Every geometric surface transformed mathematics into atmosphere. Every courtyard offered a controlled moment of light and silence beyond the crowded street. The Medina survived because it worked. Raw materials entered through its gates. Goods moved from workshop to workshop. Leather, wood, wool, metal, and clay became shoes, doors, carpets, lamps, and tiles. Listen closely, and every district has a sound. The quick metallic rhythm of coppersmiths. The scrape of a plane across cedar. The soft cut of thread. The slap of wet clay. These are not performances invented for visitors. They are the acoustic map of a working city. The fonduk was one of its essential machines, part inn, part warehouse, part commercial exchange. Merchants could arrive with animals and goods, secure them around a central courtyard, and negotiate with the city beyond the door. Fez connected countryside and court, Sahara and Mediterranean, craft and scholarship. Its streets carried objects, but also techniques, stories, and taste. No place expresses that continuity more dramatically than the Chouara tanneries. From the rooftops, their stone vats resemble an enormous painter's palette. At ground level, the beauty becomes labor. Hides are cleaned, softened, dyed, lifted, and laid out to dry. The process is physical, repetitive, and skilled. It depends on knowledge passed between workers, and on an urban network of suppliers, dyers, leather merchants, and makers. A finished bag in a souk begins as a chain of difficult actions performed by many hands. The tanneries are often photographed as if they were an exotic relic. That misses the point. Their real power is not that an old method can be seen. It is that the method still belongs to a living economy. Fez did not escape modern history. Political power shifted. Under the French protectorate, Rabat became the capital in 1912, and a new European planned city grew beyond the old walls. That separation changed Fez, but it also spared much of the Medina from being cut open for wide roads. The old city remained dense, difficult, and inhabited. Its greatest strength became its greatest challenge. Historic houses require constant care. Traditional workshops compete with industrial production. Residents need safety, sanitation, and opportunity without turning their neighborhoods into a museum. Preservation here cannot mean removing life from the streets. If the people and trades disappear, the architecture becomes an empty shell. UNESCO inscribed the Medina of Fez on the World Heritage List in 1981, recognizing one of the most extensive and best preserved historic towns of the Arab Muslim world. Major rehabilitation programs have since restored monuments, workshops, places of worship and buildings at risk. But restoration is not a finish line. It is a negotiation between memory and daily need. A repaired fountain matters because people pass it. A restored fondue matters because work can return. A protected alley matters because a family still calls it home. Fez has endured dynasties, new capitals, new technologies, and the pressure to become an image of itself. Yet each morning, the gates open. Goods enter. Students cross courtyards. Craftsmen raise their tools. The maze begins moving again. This is not a city frozen in time. It is time made visible layer after layer, still occupied, still argued over, still alive. And that may be the true secret of Fez. History here is not behind glass. It walks beside you, turns a corner, and disappears into the crowd.